Today on Drawbli,
Ben has figured out drawing, or so he says.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Abby.
And we are self-taught artists documenting our drawing adventures because art is better with friends.
So click that subscribe button if you're new around here.
And check out our drawing guide, link below.
So Ben, you figured it out.
I did, actually. I did figure out drawing.
Or so you say.
Or so I say.
What makes you think you've got it all figured out here?
Specifically this drawing here. I've been talking about in some recent videos with drawing about how I have been starting to figure out like little puzzle pieces of drawing. One of those that's really leveled me up lately is using a much lighter touch.
Oh yeah, that has been a new focus of yours.
That has been like a really big thing that has leveled up my art. But another thing is just repetition of drawing faces has helped me figure out just like where to put lines more often and like just for the initial part. And then from there, like if you hand me a drawing that's like mediocre, I can probably push it into a better place. So like the better I get at making stuff that's mediocre, the better I'm gonna get at pushing it even further. So it's all just like compounding on top of each other and helping me grow. So.
I think you've been really consistent lately too in drawing, like for a while now. So I feel like that's really settling in on itself as well.
Yeah,
like,
are you jealous? Jealous of my consistency?
I overextend myself way too much with my social calendar. So
you're such a social butterfly.
I guess. I don't think so. I think I like to be home and I make a lot of time to be home, but there I am going out again, doing stuff, seeing people.
Going to go watch the Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
The Boy and the Heron. I saw it recently and Abby's like, was it good? And I was like, yeah, I loved it. It was amazing. And she was like, I'm going to go see it literally today.
Well, I didn't go see it because I was hanging out with one of my sisters. So today I'm going to see a different sister's new apartment. And I told her, I have movie credits.
Abby
Let's
has
go see this.
500 sisters.
I have a lot of sisters. I have a lot of brothers.
You have a lot of siblings.
Family. Yes.
Too many, some might say.
Too many, some might say.
I would never say that, but some might say that.
You just don't know. You have one sibling, so it's hard for you to grasp.
It's so hard for me to grasp.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really liked this drawing. I really liked. I did
love this drawing.
Some warping to the proportions here at the end. Me talking about things being mediocre, and then I can go back in and clean them up and push them to be better.
Her.
Yeah, I think it would be fun to sculpt one of my another one of my drawings. I've done that like literally one time only, which I think is kind of funny.
I liked the one you did. It was like that little like Victorian-esque boy.
Yes.
And I loved how it turned out. It was so fun.
Yeah, I actually really liked that one as well.
This makes me want to learn to do like a character turnaround.
Just like drawing from different angles?
Yeah.
That's pretty hard to do.
I know. I've always heard that, but I feel like I heard that when I was young, like, oh, that's really hard to do, to draw like a character from, and it held me back from trying as a young person.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, it held me back then when I was younger and didn't know any better to be like, I'm going to do it anyway. So now I have to do it anyway.
So my next thing that I'm going to work on in terms of lines, I'm going to try, I say in quotes, because there's so many things that I have to remember to do when drawing. But you challenged me recently to practice creating more flowy, long lines. But that's just like not who I am as a person.
It's really not.
So
nothing about you is go with the flow. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Just tell it how it is. Throw me under the bus. Jeez. Yeah, so that's one thing I would like to work on moving forward a little more. And I have really been enjoying my time focusing on drawing. It's been super fun, so it'll probably be a continued practice of mine moving forward. Just faces in general are super fun for me to do, and just focusing on just lines. So I decided to draw Geralt from The Witcher.
Yes, I love this one. This looks so good.
I did not finish the painting part of it. I worked on it for a little while and kind of moved on to some other stuff.
I ended up loving the hues you chose, though, for even the painting that you did on this. You have a lot of orange, and I feel like that really pops and it makes it very bright and golden light kind of esque. It's very, very pretty.
Thank you. Well, look at where this sketch is now. I really don't like the eyes right now, but I do improve them, and I improve a lot of different aspects of this. And I really like where I get the sketch. However, then I start to paint over top of it and kind of, I don't ruin it, but I should have left it as a sketch.
It's so hard to add paint to line work.
It's not. It's really easy.
But you just did it and you said it didn't go well.
Well, that's because I didn't finish it. If I spent like another 30 minutes or hour on this, I could definitely fix and like clean up a lot of my unfinished areas.
Yeah. Ben, when you draw, do you ever draw from the shoulder?
I would like to say yes, but I don't think that the answer is yes.
Here's what I think we should do is I'll get a big piece of paper set up in the like living room or something on an easel.
Let's
I'll get
do
an easel,
it. Ooh.
and I'm gonna have you practice drawing from your shoulder.
Okay, I'm down.
I think that's where a lot of big flowy control happens.
It is.
Yeah, so I think this would be a fun practice for us to have you do this, and I'd like to do it too.
I think that would be fun. I was actually thinking recently, since I've been drawing so much on my iPad, it would be fun to draw on paper and just like see how much that translates. I think it would translate actually even better to paper because I think you would just get more control. I think you can more finely control pencil on page rather than the digital pencil.
Yeah, it's just harder to make adjustments once you've made something not in the spot you want it to be.
Like you could do such a thinner, lighter line with a real pencil than you could with a digital pen.
And not to mention pressure sensitivity is, I mean, it's good on the iPad with Procreate. It's very good. But with a pencil on paper, that's a whole different ball game.
Real quick, look at my lines before they go
They're
away
so good.
forever.
These are great lines.
Now I'm about to paint.
Yes.
So, Abby, I mentioned recently that I would give you a quick tutorial on painting over your sketch. This is not it, but it could be like a really good basic starter for you to like get the general idea down.
Something I'm gleaning from this is that if you're going to paint but also include your sketch, I feel like you have to leave the painting a lot more simple and less like painterly and with strokes.
Oh, no, not at all.
I guess.
To start,
it just feels like it competes then with the line work.
no, I don't think so at all. I think there are different areas of like, what would be the term? Like there's different ideas with that line of thought where it's like the sketch should like still remain on top, or the sketch is literally just there for planning. I like my sketches to come through in my final artwork, so I keep my sketch there the whole time. And what I do is I start off by painting under the sketch, which is what I'm doing here. And once I get to a certain point where I'm like, there's nothing more I can do there, I then start creating new layers on top of my sketch layer and paint over top of that. So I end up taking out a lot of the sketchy lines, but I also end up keeping a lot of them in. And if I get to a point where I'm like, you know, it's lost a lot of that sketchy appeal, as we like to say, I can always sketch over top and put more of that back in.
Yeah, or take off some of what you've put on top.
This one ends up kind of muddy and messy because I think I specifically did shading with like hatching and stuff, and that like kind of competes against the paint.
That's what I'm saying. They compete sometimes.
Well, I don't. When I am going to go into a painting and start with a sketch, and I have that idea from the beginning, I don't normally shade my sketch, and I don't think you should unless you're okay with spending a little more time adjusting later on. So like here, what I would do is I would sample like around the neck, and I would get rid of all that the hatching and stuff, and I would just like paint over top of that one solid color, or like start to blend it all out.
I think Loish leaves in a lot of her hatching. She's kind of found a method that works for her. But her hatching, she very deliberately mimics the form of the object with her hatching.
Yes.
So it almost is part of the painting in a way.
Yeah, that's called contouring.
Yeah.
However, you can also cross-hatch or hatch in a way that flattens your image to remove interest, like or visual weight from that area, which is an interesting technique that I've been playing around with a little.
That's cool. Yeah, I haven't heard of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so like for instance, if you're like, oh, don't look at this part of the armor because I don't care about it, you can just like hatch over it in all these straight lines that don't contour with the form.
I like that. And I like how this ended up, by the way. I know you are like, it's not my best, but I enjoy looking at it, so that's always a good thing.
And if you liked how this turned out, click that like and subscribe button, and also consider checking out our guidebook on how to easily draw every day at the link below.
Share your artwork on Instagram with #Drawbli because drawing is better with friends.
And this is the part where we say...
Goodbye.
Goomba.
Have you seen the latest season of The Witcher?
I have not, and I have heard not good things.
Isn't it a different actor now?
The newest season is going to be.
Oh, so he's still in this one?
He was in the latest season.
Excuse me then. I gotta go watch this season.
Yeah, you think you're funny?